All right, this is a 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee with a 3.6 liter. The engine was initially, it had a 304, which is a misfire in cylinder 4. So I went through and it started really around 80,000 miles, and right now it's got 117,000. And the primary purpose of the video, there's plenty of videos that walk you through on how to do this, so I'm not going to go through that process. But the 304, I pretty much just ignored it, didn't pay that much attention to it, and it's actually a very serious error when you see that engine light come on, and if it's a misfire in the engine, there are some things that you need to start taking action on. So, I typically did the first thing, I'd change the coil. This is going to be the right bank. This is going to be 1, 3, and 5. And on the left bank, it's going to be 2, 4, and 6. So number 4 is right in here, And the first thing I did, of course, is I changed the coil and the plugs. The air went away, but it came back. Later, then I replaced the lower intake. I put a lower, actually what happened was the oil cooler started leaking. So in taking the oil cooler and replacing the oil cooler, I also replaced the lower intake with an aluminum intake, and then also replaced the fuel injectors. Code went away for a little while, but came back. Primarily the reason why I thought I'd change out the lower intake, aside from aluminum looking a little cool, was I thought maybe there could be a crack in the lower intake. So that didn't fix it. So then I did more research and come to find out that the 304 takes you to a mechanical or engineering fault, and they take you back to, one of the things they take you back to is the rocker. The rocker has needle bearings in it, and what happens is the needle bearings wear out, and then the rocker starts riding on the cam, and then eventually when the roller on the rocker wears out, it'll just eat out the cam lobe. So it is a serious error. So first on this one, this is going to be the right bank passenger side. In order to get the valve cover off, remember the back of the valve on the right bank has a PCV valve, and the cam protrudes out into the valve cover. And so you have to actually take the valve covers, move back and out. Well, you'll notice on this one, I have, this one has the transmission fill. And on the transmission fill, what you're going to have to do is I actually pushed it in this direction to bend it, and that worked. And I was able to then get the valve cover out of here. I tried detaching it from the tranny. That didn't have any impact. I suspect further down on the back of the engine somewhere there might be another connector. So what I did was I just gently pushed on it to bend it, and that got it out of the way. So the initial field inspection on this ended up being positive. My cams, I don't see any, the rockers, any evidence of where the rockers were riding on the cam in any, whether the right bank or the left bank. But I did notice on both the left and right bank that on the back of these cams, you'll notice it's what I call like silver paint. So there's the first indication, potentially of problems, that I'm going to attribute this for now, that is all to the needle bearings and those rockers, I hope. So I'll end up pulling the cams and replacing the rockers and the lifters, the lashes or whatever you call them. They're lifters, not hydraulic lifters, but I'll end up replacing all of those and using a tool that they recommend. The Motor City is some really great videos on this, and it walks you through how to do this. And so if you're familiar, if you've wrenched on engines, it's actually a lot of fun. It really is. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty easy to do. Probably the biggest thing on these V6s is removing everything to get to the job that you're wanting to do. But what struck me odd is a little bit about this engine. This V6, this is, we bought it new. It's, like I said, 2011. And for about the first 50, 60,000 miles, pretty much this car is driven back and forth to the grocery store. So very short, 5, 10, 15-minute drives back home, parked in the garage. It's been garage kept. I don't spray the engine down. And of course, in the 70s, Quaker State did an analysis on oil, and of course, the worst miles you could ever put on a car is doing these little short hops. And the reason for that is the condensate builds up in the engine, never has time to dissipate. So what's odd to me, and hopefully maybe some other people, some of the professional mechanics, you know, maybe they watch some garage mechanics and get some giggles out of watching us fumble through this stuff. But what's very odd to me is notice all the rust on these cams. I think that's odd. I've never seen that. And again, this particular engine, I always maintain my engines. I change out the oil religiously every 5,000 miles. I use the Mobil synthetic 5W30 on these. So I'm a little perplexed at why the engine would be, the cams would be rusty like that. On the left bank, you'll notice that there's not there's no indication of any rust. They look very clean. The only cam lobe is this one right here. I'll have to do more of an inspection, measure each of these cam lobes. It looks like that a little bit of a mark in there, but I don't feel a groove. So more than likely on this initial inspection, what I'll end up doing is I'll probably just, like I said, replace the rockers. I don't think I'll replace the cams. Now, the valve cover for the right bank is what we're looking at here now. And again, you'll notice that that yellow crud looks like I don't know, looks like a monster from the deep or something. I don't know what it is. So if anybody's got any ideas, leave the video open or leave the chat open on this. Very odd. I'm not sure what that is. PCV valve was full of this crap too. The only thing that comes close is at a 78 KZ1000 and the oil glass. If you drove it, 15 minutes and parked it, you'd see sort of the foamy stuff in that sight glass. That's the only thing that comes close. But I don't know. I'm not sure, because this car over the last probably 50,000 miles, every time we get in the car, it's at least a 40-50 minute drive or more. So I don't know I don't know what that is. So anyway, so I'll follow back up and maybe have some other comments as I go along. It's probably going to be pretty simple. Like I said, Motor City, there's a guy, Dave, he did some videos. Highly recommend watching those videos. He walks you through using the tools. There's some other ways you can pop these rockers out of here. I don't, like I said, the initial, I didn't feel any wiggle on these rockers. Well, that's a bad one to fiddle with, but I don't, well, there's a little bit. But anyway, I'll pull these out and I'll have to inspect them and measure the cams to see if there's any difference. But anyway, thanks.